the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Thursdays are always loaded to the gills in 30 minutes. Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian on the program. We will ridicule him about his DeAndre Swift selection from last week. Great analysis. Gone wrong.
It happens.
It does, of course. Yeah, Steve Wiss on the program today and Brad Powers, college football as well. I'm kind of lost. So we did mornings for 7 years. Rarely, if ever, had any live sporting events at that time. We've been doing this new time slot for a month. We had day baseball 2 days. I loved it. We don't have it right now. I don't know what to do with myself. What? Come on.
Tough scene.
Baseball we can't have Brewers Mets right now, first pitch?
Got a hockey game Tuesday at 1:30. I bet you're fired up for that, buddy.
We'll do play-by-play for that for a half an hour straight and see how that goes over. So we do have that game coming up a little bit later on tonight, and of course a Thursday night football game as well. Falcons favored by 2.5 total, now 43.5 or 44 at most spots. I did bet the Buccaneers earlier in the week. I personally have more interest in player props tonight. What say you?
Yeah, and a deep dive into it as well. I did, as we mentioned, I bet Tampa. I'm going to go against Vito's son here. I can't trust anything Atlanta's doing. You know, it's been a funky year for the Falcons. They should have won week 1 and lost week 2. It flipped. They should have won week 3 and lost Sunday, and it flipped. So 2-2 feels about right.
That probably is correct, yeah.
But, not getting the ball to Pitts, don't you? What you're going to get week in and week out from the offense, and what are you going to do with the rushing attack? I mean, you can run on Tampa, but they've had issues the last couple of weeks running the ball. The outlier was what they did with Robinson in the Monday night game against Philadelphia. So, and the odds makers don't know what to do with it. Like at DraftKings, Atlanta's plus 170, Tampa's plus 180, New Orleans plus 220. They have no idea who's going to win this division. I'm going to back the team tonight with the quarterback who's playing out of his mind and has been the way for a couple years in Tampa, in the 3-time defending division champs, that Baker's 4th in passer rating and top 5 in touchdowns and yards. And even with the injuries, I think they're going to find a way to get it done, and I can't get there with Cousins right now.
Yeah, so it doesn't always go this way, right? Like, we can look at the quarterback-coach combination tonight. Clearly, right now, Baker Mayfield playing better football than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins still looks like he's not close to being back to, near what he was last year when he was playing at that MVP level. Can we say Todd Bowles clearly better coach here, too, than Raheem Morris?
Yes, that's fair. Oh, yeah.
Clearly, he might be strong, but he is a better head coach. I mean, that's just, I think, period, point blank. I mean, that's pretty obvious to maybe the entire audience here. But I said this on Sunday, going back. I'm like, McVay and Matthew Stafford against Eberflus and Caleb Williams, that's clear edge. Didn't play out that way. Now, as for tonight, this is why the player props to me and breaking down games, it's just a totally new dimension to betting football and has been now for quite a while. But I'll make a case for a couple of guys. One guy I think is very popular. The other guy is completely under the radar. I'll start with him first. So this past weekend for the Buccaneers, I know that you made a case for Jalen McMillan a lot this year. He was inactive. Trey Palmer left the game with a concussion. Their wide receivers number 3 and 4. They are both out tonight. Sterling Shepard came back and played his first game in like 700-plus days. He was injured. He had 3 catches for 51 yards. He played 50 snaps in that game against Philadelphia, 65% of the offensive plays. And there were some great quotes that I really fell for after the game because Shepard played at Oklahoma with Baker Mayfield, and they were essentially talking about how much they love playing with each other. So that's a big indicator to me. And Baker Mayfield has this great personality, and he actually said that Sterling Shepard, he's got a couple of screws loose, but that was the quote. A couple of screws loose, but great energy, and it was great to have him back on the football field. Mm-hmm. And then Shepard talked about how much he has loved playing with Baker Mayfield and missed it. And he felt like he completely appreciated what was going on the entire experience on the field against Philadelphia. I think there might be something there.
Yep.
Obviously, he's the third guy now tonight. Godwin and Evans will get much of the focus. But I think there's something there with Shepard, and his yardage prop is 19.5. certainly doable. A couple of catches, he can go over that number.
I played that in a little ladder bets, and also I did some stuff with Otten, too.
So did
where
I.
I think could be a big point in this game and be involved with some touches. And if you want to get nuts, 23-1 first touchdown. It's also been the year of the kicker. Hard to ignore, though, what Koo did last week. I got involved with kicking props, both teams to make a 33-yard field goal, plus 105. Koo over 1.5, minus 140. McLaughlin over 1.5, minus 130. Koo hit a bunch last week, hit for the game winner from 58. McLaughlin has made 25 in a row during the regular season. Both guys really... And the other one, you have to... The books need to adjust this, and they really haven't. Longest made field goal of the game. Like, if this guy can come out from 56, both of them, no problem. Week 1, McLaughlin on the first drive of the season hit from 56. Mm-hmm. So you can't put up 47 and 48 for longest made field goal with these guys.
So they actually... Remember, early on, they were putting up 46.5 for some of these games. Now tonight it is 48.5. So they made it 2 yards more. But I do agree with you that we have 50-yard field goals coming in at a rapid rate now still on the season.
These guys, it's not a problem, no doubt. There's at DraftKings, they have a stats are for losers special bet in light of what Morris said Sunday. Pitts to have 5 receptions or more is 4-1.
I'm not betting that.
I know.
There's no way.
Know. That should be a London game. He should be involved. He should have a big game through the air. But then what do you do with Algier and what do you do with Bijan about who's going to get more carries? That's both teams, by the way.
I know.
Who's going to get the majority of the touches and how's this going to work out in both backfields?
Well, Charger's going to be awesome on this in 25 minutes by almost every indicator here with the Buccaneers. Like in that backfield, it's not going to be Rachaad White anymore as the main focal point. It's going to be the rookie from Oregon, Bucky Irving. And so his yardage prop was 43.5. And like... I saw something today, like every time he gets at least 8 carries, he goes past that number. That's all he has to basically get if he maintains that average, which is maybe a little bit difficult to do, but that's only getting 8 carries. So what if he gets like 12, 13 of those carries tonight? I see, it sounds like we're going to only make the case for overs here. I can't bet an over with Rachaad White. There's no way, no how.
Yeah.
The only way would be the receiving yards because I can see them maybe. I'd like to go under if they're not lying tonight, right? Then I definitely want to go under his rushing yards prop and then maybe make a case for Bucky Irving to go over his rushing yards on top of it. Charge probably with more intel coming up in about 25 on that, the split on what they're going to do.
London and Evans to combine for 125 is $1.50. You have to lay $1.50 there. You can do that too. You want to do your Algier prop? You think he'll have a catch? Can he have 5 yards, 6 yards?
See, I did not get involved in this because you want to talk about adjusting now. Again, this was a half a yard when they played one of their earlier, that was Monday night against Philadelphia?
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago. It was only a half a yard. So they bumped it up a little bit, and I don't want to go down that path again.
Okay. And I also I threw pizza money on this. Will each team have a touchdown and a field goal in both halves? 16-1. With these kickers?
Yeah.
And you get these, I think that's doable, but it's...
So how did you bet Otten then? The catches, receptions,
I didn't do
yards?
I didn't do receptions. I did yards, and I did ladder bets with the yards. And I did first. I'm gonna bet first touchdown here coming up too at Circa, which is 23-1 as I mentioned. But I didn't. Same thing with Shepard. I mean, I like Shepard, but is he gonna have 4 catches? That's a little aggressive.
Okay,
I don't know. I can't do that.
I did his ladder yards up to 30. I didn't get too crazy. If you want to get nuts and go to like 60 yards, you can find, I think it's 8-1 or something like that.
Yeah, that's
I'm not going to go
bad.
that crazy.
Yeah, that's not bad. I think I did 40 and 50 there.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah,
I also played K-Don anytime touchdown at plus 375.
Yeah, he's plus $1.60 to have 30. He's 3-1 to have 40. He's 5-1 to have 50. Well, he got 50 last week.
He got 50 last week, so maybe that is something I will add throughout the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
As for the baseball game that we have going on as well, you like Myers, the kid that the Brewers going to throw out there today.
I do. He's a great story. You know, he was awful in Double-A. I love the Brewers in this game. See if the Mets can shock me and surprise me. I've seen worse losses. Certainly what happened Monday in Atlanta. That's a tough loss. You can't lose that game. And the Mets had every opportunity to extend the lead. Condolences if you had Mets team total over 3.5 runs. You have 3 runs in the second inning. How about the fluke where Alonso steps and trips over his bat, which would have been a run? Double play grounder to get out of the inning. So many times just one hit away from blowing it open. Couldn't do it. They should be going to Philadelphia. I was at Hoover Dam earlier. I saw Manfred. I mean, he's going to lose his mind if it's Milwaukee and Philadelphia and not Mets and Phillies, considering we already have Padres, Dodgers. But this is tough. And I don't. Now, Quintana's been great.
He's been really
good. Other than
good.
what happened last time out against Milwaukee. But Myers was great last time out against the Brewers. The kid has been dynamite down the stretch. I played over 3.5 strikeouts, minus 130, a 2.43 ERA going back in those 20 appearances. This kid's been strong.
Been really good. I will give you this.
That the moment's maybe too big, but I know if they're going to play these games where give me 4, give me 5, whatever it's going to be, I certainly trust the Milwaukee bullpen a lot more than the Mets bullpen.
You have to. When
it's not even close.
Right. It's all hands on deck against second best bullpen ERA in all of baseball this year, speaking of Milwaukee. Now, Williams and McGill did throw yesterday, but that's fine. They can come back and throw again today. So with that in mind, Myers has pitched exactly 4 innings in his last 3 appearances. 2 of those were starts. One of those, it was in fact the Mets game where they threw it open and then they brought Myers back in.
He was great.
So he was removed after throwing 49 and 56 pitches. His outs prop is 12.5. The under is minus 160. So if you think that he can come back out for the 5th and get 1 more out, you can get a nice juicy return on that, expecting him to be really, really good tonight.
I think that's in play.
But I'm also concerned about how they're treating him now the last 3 games that he's pitched.
Well, but he was ridiculed for what he did with fastball Freddie in game 1, right? But again, with the bullpen, you can't lose that game. That's a bad loss. And now how do you bounce back now, knowing you should have made it to the next round? Manaea was great, but Quintana's been solid. That's the thing. This guy, he's got an ERA under 1 the last 6 starts before what happened over the weekend in Milwaukee.
All right, Paul's going to recap more of yesterday's betting action with Win Some, Lose Some. That's coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
VSiN is thrilled to introduce a new VSiN.com tailor-made to the evolved needs of today's sports bettors. Our upgraded navigation streamlines your journey, allowing you to swiftly access articles, videos, and podcasts. Whether you're tuning in live or catching up on your favorite shows, everything is just a click away. VSiN.com guarantees a fluid and responsive experience across all devices, ensuring you stay connected wherever you are. We have enhanced tools such as our betting splits and expert picks, and introduce innovative features like parlay and odds calculators, all designed to make you a sharper bettor. Our How to Bet section is perfect for beginners, covering the fundamentals, while seasoned bettors can delve into our advanced betting strategies for the competitive edge you've been looking for. Sign up for free on VSiN.com or become a VSiN Pro subscriber, where you can unlock unlimited access to every tool, expert picks, and insight that make VSiN the sports betting network.
Want to see who at VSiN is on a hot streak? Go to VSiN.com/picks to see all the selections and weekly leaderboard of VSiN hosts, writers, and guests. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber and get every pick sent to your inbox daily. Just head to VSiN.com/pro.
Responsible sports betting starts with a game plan. That means stick to a budget. Keep it social, learn the game, and know the odds. Play with legal operators. And if you need help, reach out. Visit haveagameplan.org to learn more.
last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, here we go. Tigers plus 150 in Game 2, and Tigers to win the series plus 160. What a story. They move on. Saturday, Game 1. Guardians are $1.30, the hottest team in baseball since mid-August. Pitching chaos. They get it done again. Royals plus 130. Royals to win the series plus 140. Most hits in the Braves-Padres series. Mitch Moss, Michael Harris, 14-1. Good job.
Well, a tip of the cap to a guy in the cornfields as well.
Yeah, that's a good call. He also cashed right away for a double, 4-1, and he went deep plus 725.
Yeah.
So he had a big series.
It's almost unfortunate they got bounced because the guy's been so hot.
Yes. How about with the Padres? Would a team hit for the cycle in the game? Padres 12-1. They did it in the same inning. 2 outs, nobody on in the second.
Damn.
Home run, single, double, triple. 12-1. And 2 outs, nobody on, and they get a 5 spot. Mullins to go deep, 11-1. Meadows home run plus 725. Soler to go deep plus 450. Churio plus 625. And will a player hit 2 home runs in a game? That prop cashes at Will Hill and Caesars. Most strikeouts, Hunter Brown on the day, plus 450. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on television. Look at the Bulldog doing the multiple 360s, 180s. Right? Look at round and around. He is so excited to get on his skateboard. And he goes down and he keeps going round and around. So I'm intrigued. Like, what's he going to do? Like, this is his daily routine. Can he pull this off? He's salivating at the chance. And then you put the skateboard down after he goes around in circles. And yeah, he's got it. Piece of cake, right? Just jumps on there, the big fella with the front porch.
Here we go.
And the bond down, right on the street. There he goes. He's got it. Slow, right? Goes right back. A lot of dogs love the walk. This guy's all about the skateboard. That's excellent. Well done. One lose some. Orioles have lost 10 in a row in the playoffs. And a great job by the fans. Lowest playoff game attendance-wise in Camden Yards history. It's one thing to lose, but now, last year you're the 1 seed and you got swept. Here, you're at home again, and not only do you get swept again, you lose 1-0 and 2-1. So, again, you're talking about, the future's so bright, and it's just, you were the 1 seed, you made it, this thing's wide open. And you couldn't hit, and the bases loaded, nobody out, don't score.
I will say that. Okay, my comeback is going to be, for like 3 straight years, they were basically the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
And you had to put up with all that crap, and then they make the playoffs. You aren't happy with the organization, then you don't go. That's kind of BS to me.
Well, okay. But also, I know what we talked about yesterday. Can you make a move at the deadline? But the hitting was the problem.
The hitting was the problem,
The pitching was great. It's just, that is tough to take. You lose 1-0 and 2-1 because you knew Kansas City couldn't hit. How about this frog video? Check out here where the guy coming in and putting the food next to him, and his buddy comes. Look at his face, right? What are you doing? That's mine. Okay, and coming over again. Wait a second. Look at his face again. Hey, wait, that's mine. What are you doing? He puts it by him again. His buddy comes in. No, I'll take it. You can't.
Well, why is the guy on the right not going for anything?
I don't know. He keeps looking at him like, "What's your problem? That's mine." But you fooled me once. Look at this. It's right on a platter for you.
He's really flexing his throat like, I'm going to bite your head off here, pal.
Yeah, true. Well, you got to be aggressive. That's right. Every man for himself. A frog.
Every frog for itself.
The look on his face. Wait a second. 3 times in a row? Come on. How about the dog? My dog Jordan always rips up the toy. Look at this one. The owners were away, and someone got through the toy and just ravaged everything in the room. Look at the big guy looking at it. Who did it? Who did it? And he points to his friend. And the guy, yeah.
Well, yeah.
He goes in the corner and hangs his head in shame.
I wonder.
Yeah. He goes right behind the couch, you know. Look at that. Yeah. Well, I know you did it. I told you not to do it. I know. Look at his buddy. Like, what are you doing? What's wrong? And he walks away. He's like, who did this? And he walks over, and the dog you caught me. I can't.
I love this look. So he's in the corner.
Right.
When they pan over to the other buddy here.
You got that? Looking right at him. What are you doing? Oh, bad beats. Mets team total over 3.5. 3 runs in the second. That's what they finished with. And the under 7.5 was tough. 3-2 in the 8th. No Diaz. They go to Maton. Can you take him out after he Come on. After he gives up the home run, then gives up another hit, and then the double play is hard hit, get him out of the game. Come on. 5-3 Brewers. Follow the Money has a great offer. This week only, 40% off football season special. Promo code FTM. Sign up now. Full VSiN Pro access. Everything we do through the Super Bowl. Every best bet, every host, every guest. 19 hours live programming. Proven betting systems. The betting splits. 40% off the football season. This week only. Sign up. Use the code FTM. It expires October 7th. Don't wait. VSiN.com/subscribe. So a couple of things here as well. We were asking for your feedback and tweets and emails. FTM@VSiN.com. Check out the big brain on Brett. Brett, we have a winner. Brett sent us the tickets. He has a Mets-Tigers World Series exact at 10,000 to 1. That's your big boy.
I saw that.
And he is your leader in the clubhouse, as you said.
Well, that's going to be tough to beat.
Wow. He should be. I mean, the Mets should be right there now. The Mets should be playing the Phillies.
All right. So for that book to actually post it, like I'm guessing that's the time of year where other books are going to say Tigers. They have no what? Why even have the Tigers on the board right now?
That's true.
And they probably just put up that's impossible. It's not going to happen. So here's 10,000 to 1 in a matchup like that.
No chance, right?
So have you done anything yet with the Yankees-Royals series?
I am very concerned about this layoff now. Now, it's been big in the National League, but with 6 days off now, and I know a lot of Yankee fans are already ticked off about, yes, it's right there for us on a silver platter. We have dominated this division. Not that it's going to be easy, but this is the easiest path we're ever going to see. But this is real. This 6-7 days off. That's the Dodgers. 111 wins. Swept. Or 1 win last year. Swept. Outscored, 16-4, whatever it was. So this is a big deal.
Let me throw this at you. This tweet was making the rounds earlier today from at Yankees Vision. Career stats versus Lugo, Reagans, and Waka. You ready? Aaron Judge versus those 3 starters. 1 for 28 career. Jazz Chisholm, 1 for 18.
Ooh.
Volpe, 0 for 11. Giancarlo Stanton, 7 for 34, 2 home runs, batting average year 205. Gleyber Torres, 4 for 29. Juan Soto, the one player who has had decent success, 8 for 26, 307 average, 2 home runs. Career numbers versus Seth Lugo, Cole Reagans, and Michael Waka.
Yep.
It's playoff baseball. Crazy things happen.
Cole has been unbelievable in this round, this particular round. 6-0 with a 1.71.
Yeah.
And 7 ALDS starts. So, but, there's something to the rust, but it's been a bigger issue in the National League where a team can't even win a series. How about that? Can I give you this? Atlanta, this year, when they allowed 4 runs or more, 11-60 on the season.
Wow.
Oh, how about that?
Unfortunately for them, Fried just...
they didn't have it.
No, did not have it last night.
Nope.
That one was, I want to say it was over quickly, but again, Padres did a lot of damage and then allowed the Braves to kind of get back into that game.
Once again, they sat on the lead.
They're going to go Dylan Cease game 1.
Yep. I would throw King in 2.
So would I.
Now, you do not throw Darvish.
No.
That'd be a mistake, but it doesn't. I'm speculating here. It doesn't look good. I would expect Musgrove to be out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that...
and he said so afterwards. Not
exactly
good.
Right. And they knew something there. The catcher, they pointed this out in the broadcast. Nobody knows the pitcher as well as the catcher. He knew immediately when he went to stretch like the second time and he's going like this with the arm. He's like, this is not good. Yeah. I got to make a trip to the mound here real quick. And they're like, yeah, he's done. So that's a huge loss. And this, huge edge that the Padres had with their staff against the Dodgers, that's now you're down one really important piece. Cease has got to go out there and just be awesome in this game. Set the tone early.
What a series.
Shut him down.
Finally, Ohtani's in a playoff game. The star power here. Oh, man.
This is the first time I've said this in a long time. I'm more excited Saturday for playoff baseball than I am for college football. I love college football. It's not a knock. I just can't wait for some of these games.
Well, I think, no offense to you where you're from, but Mets, Phillies, Padres.
I don't disagree. I don't. Why would I disagree with that? Yeah.
How about our guy Derek Stevens here? And he just tweeted this out before the show. Good job by MGM to take this, too. Labor Day weekend, Derek bet $1,000 on the Tigers to win the World Series and the American League. 500 to 1 and 200 to 1. They're offering him $33,000 and $31,000 cash-out options. He has a bigger, I think, I thought he put more on it, but the bet, I mean, he's very close now to winning the cashing that American League ticket.
Let me guess. Derek Stevens is not one to cash out.
Cash out button. Can you imagine what he could do with that money? Put it to good use, Mitch. Cash out for $33. You would think the cash out offer would be higher. I mean, look what it pays. They're essentially, it's almost a pick 'em against Cleveland, and then if he wins a couple more games, he cashes the ticket.
Sure. That's why why they get people with that.
That's how they get you. Yeah.
Paul Charchian, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer, on the program coming up next. Extremely negative towards DeAndre Swift last week. So now that he broke loose in one game, what does that mean moving forward?
They're off.
The only thing better than football is the excitement of all the contests. Catch the Circa Friday Football Invitational at 9 p.m. Eastern with picks from some of the sharpest bettors around the country. Then on Saturdays at 9, watch the Football Contest Show, where our expert hosts and guests go through the consensus choices for some of the biggest betting contests in the world. The fun doesn't stop there. Visit VSiN.com for the full lineup and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Every Thursday at this time, we connect with a longtime friend of the show, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer. He is with GuillotineLeagues.com. The podcast is called Fantasy Football Weekly, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. His name is Paul Charchian. Charch, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Well, I'm surprised you had me back after DeAndre Swift last week. I thought that might be the end of the run right there.
Hold on. The analysis was brilliant, right? You went on for like 2 minutes why it was going to be, he might not even play. This is what happens. Sports betting goes like this. It's hard to make money, right, in this world. And to be a pro at it, it's not easy. So everything you said made sense. Then the kid breaks out, has a monstrous game.
Yeah.
What does that mean this week against a bad Carolina defense?
Well, now I'm optimistic 1 week later. But the funny thing is the metrics were awful. Coming into the game, he was the worst starting running back in the NFL, and it made sense that DeAndre Swift there'd be, some kind of action on him to either just go, you know what, he's going to continue to be bad, or Roschon Johnson's just going to go take that job. And Johnson did score a touchdown in that game. But now we're back on DeAndre Swift, I guess. And I'm not wagering on this one, but he goes back to being fantasy startable for sure. And what feels like a very positive matchup against Carolina. I think they're going to kill Carolina in this game.
What? Really?
You're not the only one who thinks that, by the way.
Yep.
I've heard plenty of people make the case it's a terrible matchup this week with the injuries for Carolina.
Okay.
Yep. The injuries are a factor in it. Also, Jalen Johnson is going to erase Deontay Johnson in this game in a Johnson on Johnson matchup. And so, that's good. That's going to be one of the things. We'll talk more about that when we get to our betting angle. And then part of why one of my prop bets is anti Deontay Johnson. So we'll talk that through. We
are shocked and disappointed in Mike McDaniel and certainly what has happened since the Tua injury. Are we benching Tyreek Hill now?
Yeah. So he played that full week 1 with Tua. He was wide receiver 3 then. In the 3 games since then, Tyreek Hill has been wide receiver 48, wide receiver 49, and wide receiver 46. I don't think he's topped 37 receiving yards since then. And I did expect more out of Mike McDaniel, more creativity, find ways to get him the ball more often. And, Tyler Huntley obviously is by the way, how bad is Tim Boyle? If you're Tim Boyle, why are you on roster? On like Monday, they came out or Tuesday, Tyler Huntley's back as our starter. He just threw for 78 passing yards. How is Tyler Huntley automatically getting back in? And if you're Tim Boyle, what are you even doing on a roster at this point? And so is Tyreek Hill benchable? I think he is this week. He's my wide receiver 30. Oh. So, he's right in that range. Here's the thing I don't like about this matchup. It's New England. For everything that's going wrong in New England, you know what they got are 2 really good corners, Chris Gonzalez and Jonathan Jones. Gonzalez gives up 23 yards per game in his coverage. Jones gives up 35 yards. That's it. Hill at this point is somebody you have to consider as a flex level starter, but you know what's going to happen. The moment you bench him, he's going to rip off one of those plays where he breaks 6 tackles, he stiff arms a back judge, and then he forward flips into the end zone, and it's an all-time highlight. But nevertheless, I'm with you. Just the reality is this offense is totally broken right now.
Yeah, only took 1 shot down the field as well. It was ugly. So Henry, unbelievable performance and what he's done the last couple of weeks. Offensive Player of the Year category and candidate as well. But what's he doing to the passing attack? And Andrews doesn't even get a target anymore. So what do we do with these other Baltimore guys not named Henry?
Yeah, everybody else is dying because Derrick Henry's so good and dominating. They rebuilt that Ravens offensive line in the offseason, and it took a couple of weeks to get the line going. Oh, but now they're doing exactly what Derrick Henry needs. Henry's always been the guy where he needs to get up to speed. You have to give him yards before contact, and that's what this offensive line is doing now. And it's officially killed the passing game. We're looking at the last 2 weeks, getting 15 and 18 attempts from your quarterback, Lamar Jackson. There's no volume to be had, and the tight ends are officially dead. I've dropped Mark Andrews in every league I had him in. I've dropped Isaiah Likely, and to your point, Andrews going without targets. He's not even running routes. Last 2 weeks, Mark Andrews ran 6 routes and 10 routes. That's it. Starting Mark Andrews is more dangerous than hosting a PTA meeting at Diddy's house.
Oh, boy.
That's dangerous.
Baltimore,
maybe
second from the bottom in pass play percentage so far.
You know, it's crazy.
So even like Zay Flowers is really good. I love Zay Flowers. He's a good receiver. Can't really even start him. And I don't like him in this game against the Cincinnati starting corners. They're good. There's just the passing game is dead to us. Anytime you think Baltimore's going to score points, you have to think twice about starting any part of that passing offense, except Lamar Jackson, who continues to run okay. But even he's going to have more variation in his output with the low volume in passing.
So are you saying that metrics like DVOA can be a little deceiving because Baltimore, not only do they have the number one ranked offense DVOA-wise, they have the number one DVOA rushing offense, but they also have the number one passing offense per DVOA.
Yeah, right. And DVOA is looking for just what's your effectiveness.
Yes.
But the volume, I
efficiency.
mean, from a fantasy standpoint, and by the way, I mean, betting too, we need volume. You just can't accrue enough numbers on low volume. You can bet the under.
Yeah.
From a fantasy standpoint, there's no betting the under. We need volume, and there's a point at which it just, there's just not enough there. And Baltimore's at it.
It appears Adams is going to do everything he can to get to the Jets. But one rumor that was thrown out there was a landing spot was Kansas City. But what do the Chiefs do now with Rice getting hurt, and who's Mahomes going to throw to? And what do you do from a fantasy standpoint?
I want to be clear that losing Rashi Rice doesn't help anybody. I mean, there are people like, hey, wheels up Xavier Worthy. No, it was Travis Kelce. And Kelce did post the best game of his season last week, and Rashi Rice got knocked out early. But you're taking a freak off of the field who is the most productive player in your entire offense, and I'm including Patrick Mahomes in this conversation. I mean, Rice was a massive headache for opposing defenses because of his speed, his strength, his Deebo Samuel-like ability after the catch, where really it's him and Deebo. Nobody else turns a 6-yard slant into a 26-yard game like Rashi Rice did. Losing him at just an epic loss. And the defenses now are going to come in against Kansas City, and they're going to be able to dictate what they want to do on defense, because Rashi Rice meant, and trying to defend Rashi Rice meant you had to conform your defense around stopping Rice, which really almost nobody had been able to do, but that's what you had to do. Now you don't have to. All you have to do is double down on Travis Kelce, take him away. Xavier Worthy's a one-trick pony. He's run straight and run fast. That's all he brings to the table. Take that away. Now they got to be with Juju Smith-Schuster, and that's not happening.
Yeah.
So I do not find any positives in losing Rice this way. And by the way, while we're talking about Rice, did you see the deal with his mom?
Yeah. It's bizarre. Yeah.
This is one of the dumbest crimes in the history of humanity. Right?
I honestly don't know. So
you haven't seen this?
No, what happened?
Okay. So his mom, Rashi Rice's mom, this is on TMZ yesterday. She goes porch pirate. Where you steal a package left on somebody's doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
So she does that. But the problem is they've got a Ring cam, right? So they got the doorbell camera. So they got footage of Rashi Rice's mom stealing. Now, normally we throw out legally protective terms like accused and alleged. No need here. Why? Because Rashi Rice's mom is wearing her son's jersey and the nameplate on the back of the jersey says Mama Rice on it, which really takes all the doubt out of who exactly stole the package on the front of somebody else's door when you've got that on there. So yeah, not exactly a brilliant criminal mind, Rashi Rice's mom.
Bad beat. What are you going to do? Tough. You ever get red hot betting and think your picks are worth money? Juice Reel, changing the way sports bettors buy and sell betting advice. You and everyone else links their accounts into Juice Reel. All your history loads into the free app. Unlock the picks that real talented bettors have their money on. Get paid real money when other people unlock your picks. Fully transparent betting advice from real people only on Juice Reel. REEL. Download. Get it. Get the app now, Juice Reel.
Charch is going to hang out for one more segment. We'll get into player props for tonight and this weekend in about a minute here. What do you think happens with Devante Adams?
How do you like his hamstring injury?
Yeah.
I've got tightness in my hamstring from picking up this heavy phone right here. Yes, hamstring. That's it. The team that makes the most sense, and not enough people are talking about, Washington. everybody's just trying to link him to his old quarterbacks. There's a lot more to this.
Yeah.
Washington's got all the variables that make sense here. They've got a young, really talented quarterback that would be better with him there. They have desperate need at wide receiver 2. They've got the cap space to give Devante Adams a new deal. And they're in first place. I mean, this is the kind of move that first place teams do. Washington to me is the team that makes the most sense. And I'm not going to come out and just predict that's where he's going to go, but that to me, it checks all the boxes to make a ton of sense. And honestly, from a fantasy standpoint, I'd love to see him go there.
All right, we'll hit player props for tonight's game up next. Also the Sunday slate with Paul Charchian next here on VSiN.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
VSiN's got you covered for the start of the season with our football special. For $175, you'll get access to everything VSiN has to offer. With VSiN Pro, you'll receive daily picks straight to your inbox, detailed analysis on every game, and exclusive data like our betting splits to help you become a sharper bettor. Get all of this for just $175 through the Super Bowl. Or try a monthly subscription and get your first 30 days for only $9.99. Don't miss out on this offer. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back as we continue with Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian. His podcast is called Fantasy Football Weekly. Website is guillotineleagues.com, and he is on the Progressive guest line. So tonight's action that we have Thursday Night Football, Buccaneers on the road against the Falcons. Baker Mayfield, for the most part, has been terrific this year. Does he cook again tonight against this Atlanta defense?
What a great story for him. I love this. He's Fantasy Football's third highest scoring quarterback behind only Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson, who run themselves into those kinds of spots. The matchup that I really like is in the slot. You know, Chris Godwin, they had him out of position running outside last year. They put him back in the slot, Godwin, where he had been so successful for the duration of most of his career. And he's just crushing this year. He goes up against journeyman Mike Hughes on his fourth team in 4 years. This is a really strong matchup for Godwin, and I'm really optimistic that he alone is going to help key Baker Mayfield into a really nice game tonight. And so, yeah, I remain very optimistic. I got Baker Mayfield sitting at, I believe, quarterback 6 this week. So I'm still very optimistic about his chances here.
How is it going to shake out with the backfield here? A lot of rumblings that it's going to be Bucky Irving moving forward as the main guy. Yeah. So how does that work between Irving and Rachaad White?
All right, so week after week, Bucky Irving keeps chipping away at Rachaad White's usage here. Everything's tightening up between the two. Snaps last week got all the way up to 60-40. Rushing attempts, 50-50. Routes run is starting to get close as well. And Irving just looks way better. Right now, here's some Irving stats for you. He's running back 6 in avoided tackle rate, which is one of my favorite stats. I love Irving there. And for fantasy use, we love touchdowns. Who doesn't? Everybody likes touchdowns. I don't know what his anytime touchdown is. It's worth looking up if you had a second. Here's why. Irving last week had a carry from the 3-yard line, different drive. He had a carry from the 2-yard line, punched in for a touchdown, but then they reversed it on review, got it down to the 1-yard line. They gave him the ball again, and he scored. And what's more, Rachaad White last week never touched the ball, air or ground, in the red zone.
Good.
20 yards inside.
Good info.
So this thing is clearly leaning towards Irving for the things fantasy people care about, and anybody who wants to bet anytime touchdown on Irving, this might be your play right here.
Looked at a couple of books. Charge, highest number I've seen so far, plus 175 on Bucky to score.
That sounds about right. I'd give some real thought to that because that's where this thing is headed.
What do we do in the Atlanta backfield?
Well, this is fascinating. You know, obviously Bijan Robinson's great, and I'm not knocking him any, but we got to start talking about Tyler Algier, who looks really good and deserves more playing time than what he's gotten so far, and I think that might start to happen here. Tyler Algier's had 27 carries this year. Among runners with 27 carries, in yards per carry, Algier is 3rd in the league. Bijan Robinson is 29th. In yards after contact, Algier is 3rd. Bijan Robinson's 33rd. Avoided tackle rate, Algier's 14th. Bijan is 31st. So, I mean, I think if you didn't know anything about Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson, and you were just looking at the film as a neutral party that didn't know where they were drafted and what their pedigree is, you'd look at this and go, this is a fantastic 1-2 punch. This is like thunder and lightning right here. These guys should be in a 50-50 timeshare. But Bijan went, as a lottery pick, and everybody's very, very beholden to Bijan. But I'm telling you, Tyler Algier is running great right now, and don't be surprised if he just continues to be. We've seen the utilization going up every week. If that continues here, just because he's earned it, he's been that good.
All right.
Okay, Kyle Pitts, what do you want to do?
I want to drop him outright.
Oh.
In the history of the fantasy, and we managed to hit our bet on Kyle Pitts 2 weeks ago, but that's it, right? In the history of fantasy football, we have never been more conclusively and extensively fooled by any player more than Kyle Pitts. When he entered that draft like 4 years ago, we all loved him. We thought we really loved it. And then we suffered confirmation bias when the Falcons picked him at pick 4, and we kept blaming Arthur Smith for 3 years and not getting the most out of him. But maybe Arthur Smith actually got more out of him than anybody else is going to. Right now, Kyle Pitts ranks 19th in yards and 27th in receptions among tight ends. And it's a disaster in a lot of fantasy formats, especially Guillotine, where your season can end when Kyle Pitts gives you a 0 like he did last week. And if you look at the tape, Warren Sharp was nice enough to summarize all of his routes last week.
I saw it.
Dude's not even trying.
Nope.
He's jogging out there.
Yep. They're like
God,
5-6 yard.
done.
Sorry, they're like 5-6 yard slants, and there's no effort there as well. Okay, some props. You teased it earlier. So since they made the quarterback change to Dalton, Deontay Johnson, $122 and a touchdown, 83 yards and a touchdown. How about going against the Bears?
Yep, we're going to take the under 62.5 yards because he has a brutal individual matchup against one of the best cornerbacks in the league, Jalen Johnson. It's a Johnson on Johnson sword fight as Johnson shadows Johnson in this game. Jalen is currently Pro Football Focus's 9th highest rated cornerback, and it's not high. It's not high enough. He is awesome. The passer rating on throws into Jalen Johnson's coverage. Good quarterbacks throw their passer ratings around 100. The passer rating on throws into Johnson's coverage is 40. That's the third best passer rating among all cornerbacks in the league. The average game that Jalen Johnson is giving up, 2 catches for 26 yards. That gives us 36 yards of cushion on the under for Deontay Johnson. And here's what the other top receivers have done against the Bears. Last week, Demarcus Robinson, 37 yards. Before that, Michael Pittman, 36 yards. Before that, Calvin Ridley, 50 yards. Now, Nico Collins did go berserk on the Bears, but it turns out Jalen Johnson didn't cover him, which was stupid. They should have covered him, and he didn't. And against Jalen Johnson in that game, against Houston, Collins caught 1 ball for 16 yards. That's it. So I think they're going to just shadow Deontay Johnson, take him out of this game. We're taking the under.
All right, my friend. So usually we get bad matchups in London. This is intriguing. This is great. Your Vikings, your Minnesota guy. Vikings and the Jets. 2 props here, same game. Start with Jefferson. Jefferson with Sauce.
Yeah, Jefferson against Sauce Gardner, which is the big headline here. And Sauce is great. In 3 of 4 games with the Jets, he's held opposing receivers to 9 yards or less in his coverage. Think about that. That is insane. Now, it's not, though, as simple as Jefferson against Sauce Gardner because Sauce plays one side of the field. So you might be thinking, Paulie, well, let's just put JJ on the other side of the field. The problem is that's DJ Reed. He's awesome, too. He's giving up 8 yards per game in his coverage. There's kind of nowhere to hide right now for Justin Jefferson with tough matchups. So you couldn't even attack the slot necessarily because they got a good slot corner too, Michael Carter, in this game. So Justin Jefferson's line is at 78.5 yards. And Jefferson's great. And obviously Sam Darnold's playing great, but I don't know where it comes from. You're going to have to invent some big plays that the Jets defense has not given up yet. And even in a great game for Jefferson last week, he didn't get to 78 yards. So, yeah, I'm off of this. I'm going to take the under on Jefferson here.
Okay, under him. How about we flip it now? Jets, you want to attack Allen Lazard?
Yeah, let's go over on Allen Lazard in this one. Everything's going right for Minnesota this year except one thing. Vikings rank dead last in yards allowed to wide receivers. They rank second to last in receptions allowed to wide receivers. Every opponent's number 2 receiver, like Allen Lazard, has gone over this line, 33.5 yards. That's Wendell Robinson, Brandon Ayuk, Stephon Diggs, Dontavian Wicks. They've all gone, and most of them gone well over it. For that matter, get this. Number 3 receivers have topped Lazard's line this year against the Vikings. Juwan Jennings, Romeo Doubs, and Tank Dell all also went over this line of 33.5 yards. Lazard's the clear number 2 option for the Jets. He's running 34 routes per game. Nearly as many as Garrett Wilson and miles ahead of the third option, Mike Williams. So I like Allen Lazard over 33.5 yards.
All right, one final receiver prop that you like in the last 90 seconds here that we have, Charge, and it's in the Ravens-Bengals game. Who are you looking at?
We're looking at T. Higgins going over 52.5 yards. Last week, it was his second game back from injury, and you saw his target share explode up to 34%. So we can assume that Higgins is back. He's healthy, reliable, maybe even sometimes explosive. Ravens secondary unusually susceptible this year. They've given up big games to A-listers like Rashi Rice and Devante Adams, but also second bananas like Kevontae Turpin and Jalen Tolbert and Keon Coleman have done well. Ravens ranked 25th in wide receiver yards allowed at 163 per game. And half his routes for T. Higgins are set up where he'll be running against rookie cornerback Nate Wiggins. He's allowing a 75% catch rate. So I like T. Higgins. I like Higgins over Wiggins in this game.
I like it. By the way, I'm looking at Lazard ladder bets potentially 50 plus yards plus 210 range.
Ooh, that's That's very tempting.
Okay.
Very tempting.
All right. All right, buddy. Love talking to you. Thanks so much for the time and analysis as always. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, my friends. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
There you go. Paul Charchian joined us on the Progressive Guest Line website, guillotineleagues.com. Go check it out. Best format there is to play in fantasy football, in my opinion. And the podcast is called Fantasy Football Weekly. Good stuff there.
Yes.
Up next, we'll move into best bets in the soccer world as the meat man, Steve Wiss, joins the program up next. This is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A new football season means a new lineup on VSiN. Start your day with sharp betting analysis.